Hello, I'm Warren Perry at the National Portrait Gallery, joined by Dr. Ellen Miles. If you're watching this, you might notice something a bit unusual about George Washington's portrait behind us. Dr. Miles, has our founding father decided to update his profile pic after 2 centuries?
Well, Warren, it appears George has undergone a rather unexpected makeover.
Is that President-elect Trump?
Yes, indeed. Depending on how you feel about it, this is a tragic error or a historic improvement. It seems an overzealous artist from the Thitherton Gallery named Pat Copeland interpreted a memo from the new White House staff requesting him to finish Gilbert Stuart's unfinished portrait by adding Trump's likeness. He thought he was fulfilling a patriotic duty to modernize our historical pieces. Quite the creative leap, wouldn't you say?
When I first saw it, I have to admit that I was shocked. But after admiring it for a bit in person, it's grown on me. I like the idea of art evolving and keeping up with the times. Do you think this piece will get more attention now that it's been updated?
The interest has been tremendous. We have not seen anything like it. It's been huge. There are a group of people who are very enthusiastic about the new piece. It's certainly sparking conversations about art, history, and the interpretation of both. It's not every day you see the first and 45th presidents sharing a canvas.
That's fantastic. So now we have a presidential mashup on our hands, artistic expression at its finest. If I understand the provenance of this work, the original portrait was commissioned by Martha Washington and painted by
That's
Stuart.
right.
Interestingly,
He planned to use it as a reference.
he planned to use it as a reference for future replicas.
Well, as a historian and curator, I feel a sense of needing to protect our heritage. So this change is a challenge for me personally. Part of our mission here is to maintain these pieces for future generations to learn about and enjoy. However, I do very much support our president to make America great again. And as you see, the original portrait was left unfinished by the artist Gilbert Stuart in 1796. Our modern artist has completed it with a twist.
I'm not sure I follow. His original was never meant to be a final artwork. You said yourself that it was a reference.
Okay, Stuart made numerous copies based on this original, and it became the image many associate with Washington, even appearing on the dollar bill. Of course, this white space was meant to be completed later, so in a way, it's one of the most recognized unfinished works in history. And now, centuries later, it's been finished in a way none of us expected. This was one of 3 life studies of George's face and intended to complete the rest later. It's also the only pair of artworks done of both Martha and George. So, if you put yourself in my shoes and the staff here at the Smithsonian, it's a struggle. Last week, one of our docents saw a man in a trench coat painting directly on the artwork. They called security, and we ended up on the telephone with a new secretary for the arts. They were very clear that the president had requested this update. Part of my charter here is to catalog the artworks, so we diligently started the process of recording the history and researching the artist and decision-making process for historical purposes. The staff has built a substantial portfolio that will be kept with the other records of this painting for future generations to enjoy.
That will be fantastic. We be able to look back at this time and know it was the rebirth of America. I know my children will want to understand the struggle this man has gone through to lead our great nation.
This artwork is a fascinating and bold reimagination of historical portraiture that invites the viewer into a dialogue about legacy, identity, and the evolving nature of leadership. By merging the iconic unfinished style of Gilbert Stuart's George Washington portrait with the unmistakable visage of a modern political figure, the piece cleverly juxtaposes past and
Exactly.
present.
2 of our greatest leaders and joined together. It's an incredible symbol. I hope the artist will finish the work with our flag or an eagle. Do you have more comments on the work?
The subtle glow of the golden hair draws immediate focus to the face, where expressions of determination and contemplation seem to echo the weight of historical responsibility.
Amazing. Maybe explain that more. What did you just say?
Sure. The loose, unfinished canvas at the bottom is evocative, symbolizing that history is never truly complete. It is constantly rewritten and interpreted through the lens of each generation. At any given point, we can't make a definitive statement about how to understand an artwork. We can only interpret it in our context of now.
This artist is really a patriot. He was creative and brave to combine two leaders in one painting. Nobody else would have thought to do this. People will look at this and remember it forever, because it's not just a picture, it's a story about our country and the people who lead it.
There is no doubt. I definitely agree that he will not be forgotten.
An absolute genius.
Yes, right. This artist didn't just pick up a brush. He picked up a torch for creativity, for daring, for redefining what portraiture can be.
Thank you very much. Any last thoughts to wrap it up?
It's the kind of work that stops people in their tracks. It will be talked about for centuries.